why have I not been responding to this comment? I apologize. So many people have been asking me about part of my hair loss theory that I've kind of just abandoned. You know, I recently made a video called the 5 ways to predict if you're gonna go bald or whatever. And I don't mention about if you go gray early in life that you're less likely to lose your hair. I stopped talking about it, didn't I? And it's just, for me, the 5 things I do mention are the most important and the most predictable for me. But let's talk about it. If I were to keep going, if I were to have the top 10 ways to predict if you're gonna lose your hair, then perhaps number 6 would be this. If you get gray hair sooner in life, like let's say early 20s, then I do believe that you're more likely to be able to keep your hair. That's what I believe based on my experience. You look at me, I promise you, I do not dye my hair. I don't use any of those products at all, okay? So I'm closer now to age 37 than I am 36. And do you see any gray hair, I guess would be my question. I mean, I don't, right? But also, now granted, we know that I've got that in my beard when I grow my beard out. But as far as my hair goes, I don't have any noticeable gray hair. I will admit, with some tweezers, when I see an obvious one sticking straight out, because when I have gray hair, when I do have one, it sticks straight out, and I get the tweezers and I pluck it. And sometimes before I go to bed at night after I brush my teeth, you know, oh, there's like 4 right here. Let me, oh, there's 2. But it's not like I'm doing that every day, you know. Maybe once every couple of weeks I'll do that. And it's enough that I can just pluck them with a tweezer like in less than a minute, and it's no big deal. And I'm telling you all this because I'm a guy who is going to go bald on the second half of my life. I'm definitely going to go bald, unlike Ryan Seacrest, unlike, well, Tony Danza or Anthony Bourdain, who are already in their 60s. You know, they made it that far without losing their hair. And of course, you know, they're men who definitely have gone bald, or not bald, have gone gray. Tony Danza, Anthony Bourdain, Google them, look at them. And they're in their 60s, gray hair, nearly sub-Norwood one. And then me, they're just, my hair's still the same color, right? I have noticed though, that guys in their 20s that start going gray, they still have all their hair. I think, not that that's any kind of trade-off, because obviously if you're going gray and you still have your hair, you can easily just dye it. But I definitely believe, and I don't mean all the time, let's go what I always say, 80% of the time. I say 80% of the time, if a guy in his early 20s, let's say, late 20s, early 30s, and still hasn't shown any major signs of Norwood, let's say, Norwood 3 or beyond, he's still Norwood 2 or 1, I think he's more likely to have gray hair in here, especially in here. I think that guy is. I think it's a predictable thing, and I think about 80% of the time that's going to be the case. While guys like me don't really have to worry about gray hair, but then we're going to be the guys that go bald. I think it's very predictable, and I'm going to just respond to this quick comment. I made a video, vote which of my hair loss theories do you actually agree with. Rafi Kasarjian had this to say, quote, one theory you had before was that people that have gray or white hair early are more likely to keep their hair. I want to believe it since I started to go gray/white at age 17, haha. But I don't think I will be that lucky. If you look at 95% of all men, they always get a gray beard before their hair turns gray. For me, it was the opposite. So I just want to definitely say, I haven't abandoned that theory. I just didn't believe it was so important to be part of my top 5. But if I'm doing top 6, I'd say absolutely. But see, here's what people tend to do. They tend to look at my hair loss theories and they'll look at one part of it that may or may not apply and base everything around that. So if there's one of my theories that I definitely wouldn't want them to do that on, it's the thing about going gray. Because I don't want that, I definitely don't want that taken out of context. Keep in mind, my hair loss theories are a group. It's a theory group. You have to have them all. You can't just take one, okay? But yeah, if you're in your 20s and you're still Norwood 2 or better, you're probably more likely to be the guy that has to dye his hair or deal with all the gray in here You don't see any gray hair, right? And if you do, you're having to pause the video and put the time where you saw one and point out where it is. It would be work for you to do that. I'm a guy who's balding and I don't have to worry about dyeing my hair. Beard, again, different story, but it's not like my beard's going bald. My beard, if anything, it still feels like it's getting thicker and I'm getting more and more body. I promise you, I'm the hairiest guy I know.